Bobby Lashley debuts in AEW Dynamite, goes off the air with MVP asking the question, guess who's back in business? BC's got his hot take on Bobby Lashley's debut last night. Was it the right way to debut this beast? Could we have gone better? What does it lead to? BC's got a hot take. Bobby Lashley has arrived. The Hurt Business, now the Hurt Syndicate, is in play in AEW. That's a power move. We'll see if it works. WWE has just lost a major star due to injury, but they were able to sign, or I should say re-sign, a major star and current champion, by the way, for the next 5 years. We'll go over both of those names, two separate sides of the spectrum, one on the shelf due to injury, the other just signed a new lucrative contract while having a gold shiny title on her shoulder. So one's going the opposite way, the other is still ascending. We'll go over that, WWE's woes and triumphs. It's a big signing, but it's also a big loss. Vincent Kennedy McMahon, he's back. Some say he never left, but he's back, but it's not in the role you may be thinking of. But it's Vince being Vince, right? He just refuses to stay down. He just keeps... I don't think he believes that he is down right now. It's just Vince doing Vince things, right? He's always... In Vince's world, it's roses, man. Vince is just carrying on like nothing. He has a whole nother juggernaut that he's about to unveil to the world. We'll go over it. Speaking of Vincent Kennedy, his son-in-law, Hunter Hearst Helmsley and World Wrestling Entertainment, have already began the process of monopolizing professional wrestling. There's no more territories like back in the day, to where his father-in-law, Vincent Kennedy, could just buy up territories. Now you have a bunch of like wrestling schools, and those are basically your independents. For the most part, anyway. So Hunter and WWE they found a way to kind of begin the process anyway. It's going to take a while. But to begin the process of putting their logo on every single school / independent territory, or all the ones they think have any validity to them. We'll talk all about it, man. It's a brilliant strategy on one hand. It's also detrimental to the industry at large. BC will explain. We'll talk all about it in today's Amped Upload. Also, the WWE locker room, at one point, maybe still today, they banded together, or at least many wrestlers banded together, and they wanted this one superstar booted from the company. Bobby Lashley tells an interesting story that this superstar, he was kind of rough in the ring. A lot of wrestlers instantly said, we want him out. To our knowledge, he is still a part of the roster. You just never see him. So we'll talk all these stories and a lot more, man. It's Amped Up with BC. It is Halloween, October 31, 2024. Hopefully you guys are rocking out your day and week. There's not going to be any opening signature. I'm probably going to get another swig of my Dunkin' Extra, but we're not going to take you to an opening signature. We're going to jump right into these stories because there's a lot to talk about. Not a lot of time to go over all this. And I do want to open up with an opening statement, if you don't mind, regarding my New York Yankees. You guys know, if you follow this channel, if you're a subscriber for any length of time, especially my channel members, I thank you guys, by the way, all channel members and even my subscribers, man. Even if you can't chuck a coffee at the channel every month, just being subscribed to this channel, utmost appreciation to you guys. And if you're a newer subscriber, you have probably already learned I'm a huge New York Yankee fan, like I am a Green Bay Packer fan. My Yankees made it to the World Series. Unfortunately, we didn't belong there. I do believe that we are evenly matched with the Dodgers from Los Angeles, but we did not show up. And the mistakes that we made in the regular season reared their ugly heads again in the postseason. But against a team like the Dodgers, you're not going to overcome those mistakes because the Dodgers will take those mistakes and they will make you pay for them. And that's what the Dodgers did. And this whole series has just been a series of the Yankees making mistakes, kicking themselves in the ass, and handing the Dodgers victories. That's not taking anything away from Los Angeles. They went out there. They were the better team, clearly. But we absolutely handed them the majority of those 4 W's. And you need not look any more closer than last night's game. We have a 5-0 lead. Cole is pitching a gem, a one-hitter, I believe, going into the 5th, or in the 5th. And all of a sudden, Aaron Judge makes that botch in the field, drops the ball. Volpe is chucking the ball like it's a kid rejecting his school lunch, throwing it back in the lunch lady. He's chucking the ball at our third baseman's feet, like not even into the glove. I don't know where Volpe was throwing it to. He just took it like a child throwing a temper tantrum and chucked it at our third baseman. That was right after the dropped ball from Aaron Judge. And then a couple batters later, our pitcher doesn't even run to first base on a ball that's hit to the right side. You're taught this in Little League, right? If the ball's going that way, the pitcher has to cover first so the first baseman can play the ball and then throw it over to the pitcher who's covering first. Instead, Adam Cole just wanted to point to first base. He didn't want to move. Adam Cole? Did I say Adam Cole? Garrett Cole. Hope I said Garrett Cole, not Adam Cole, baby. So Garrett Cole and he was spent, let's be honest. He was out there for a while. He probably had no energy to cover first. But my point is, it was that 5th inning. We made mistake after mistake after mistake. And when it was all said and done, the Dodgers scored 5 runs in that inning. 5-5, and they never looked back. We got one more run, 6-5, and then they just got 2 more, 7-6. They beat us. That was the game-clinching 4th. Dodgers are the World Series champions. The New York Yankees got embarrassed. It was a pathetic performance in the World Series. I feel bad for anybody that's not a Yankee or Dodger fan. On one hand, it was probably highly entertaining. But if you were planning on like a series going to at least like game 6 to make it fun and interesting, no. We barely won 1 game, and that's only because the Dodgers didn't show up yesterday. That was it, man, or 2 days ago. That's it. We only won 1, they won 4. It wasn't even a series. Just wasn't. And anybody that tries to sell you that it wasn't. We made way too many mistakes. We never came through in the clutch. When the big boys, the boppers, Stanton, Judge, and Soto were hitting, the rest of the lineup didn't want to. When the rest of the lineup decided to show up, the boppers didn't. That's what happened. And when we got punched in the face, they didn't know how to get back up. That's the problem with this team. Championship teams, they get back up. This team, for some reason, during the regular season and especially in the postseason, and more vividly in the World Series, they just didn't want to get up. They couldn't. You knocked them down. It was like they were just paralyzed. They could not get back up. So the Dodgers took care of it. So that's my opening statement. Thank you for allowing BC to vent a little bit. It's very therapeutic, clearly. Yes, this day, I still can't really comprehend it because we just gave them victories in the World Series. I don't know how that even happens. A total team collapse time after time. So it's going to take a lot of coffee today. I've already scheduled an extra half an hour on both my workout sessions today just so I can let off some more steam and just start smashing and bashing, right? Wreck It Ralph. Start just crushing it. And hopefully that, we'll just vent off some steam that way. But that's my statement on the Yankees. I know a lot of you guys are following, even if you're not Yankee fans, you've been following the journey that BC and this damn team has been on. And you guys know, man, if you sport the interlocking NY, it's a way of life. It's not just a fandom. It's a way of life. So it's tough. It's tough. We finally made it back after 15 years. And they just absolutely choked. And Aaron Judge, of all people, he had a really good game going on. Home run, 2-run home run, a massive, just incredible catch in the field. And then the very next inning, he just drops a routine fly, basically. You're right in front of him. The light wasn't in his eyes, he said. He just missed it. And it takes that one thing to shift momentum. Right when that happened, I looked at everybody I was watching. I said, you know what? That's it. We're done. And it was 5-0 at that point still. And I said, we're done. That just shifted everything. You could feel the air get let out of everybody in that stadium. Big shout out over to JC King, by the way, for that super chat. And I believe it was the last upload. Much appreciation. You keep chucking the coffees at the channel. BC is going to keep these uploads rocking, bro. That's how it works. If you guys are going to keep chucking coffees, BC's going to keep chugging them and creating this content for you guys. So JC King, salute, man. Here we go with another amped up. Before we get into some of the bigger topics, let's go to some of the quicker ones, some rapid fire. Raw's rating this week, we do have it. It is a 1.4. There was stiff competition, right? World Series was on, Yankees, Dodgers. You also had Giants and Steelers, Monday Night Football. I always say, right, in all honesty, of course it affects the number, but you can never use that as an excuse because you still have to put your best foot forward. And too many times we see pro wrestling shows, they just kind of curl up in a ball and hide out until the competition is over, and maybe we'll try again next week. If you saw my Raw review this week, this was just not a good show. It just wasn't. It's going to take more than Bronson and Rollins brawling again, or just a bunch of brawls, because that's all Hunter does. Brawl, 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 brawl. I love brawls. They have their place in pro wrestling, but they have to mean something. If you do a brawl 4 times a show, in a pull them apart at least 2 to 3 times a show, they're not going to be as impactful when we really need that, right? For a big pay-per-view matchup or just something that has any meaning whatsoever. You can't overdo it, and Hunter just relies on the brawl. Chaos, chaos, chaos. But it's not going to be as meaningful if you do it all the time. On top of that, you had the... what else did you... Guys, I really don't even know what they did. What was the main event? Oh! The bait and switch. They promoted the whole week this former world champion mystery opponent for Dominic Mysterio, and it ended up just being Damian Priest. So a match we've already seen in the past with a current superstar that has no momentum right now. None whatsoever. And that's much love and respect to Damian. You guys know how I feel about him. And I want the best for him. The guy's got no momentum whatsoever. When a Monday Night Raw goes on the air 3 hours or 2 hours, when it's said and done and there was no Damian, BC doesn't go, where was Damian? I don't. I forget he's even on the roster if he's not on the show. And he's the big former world champion mystery opponent. Guys, that's hot garbage, and you're going to pull a 1.4 when that happens. So you can go ahead and blame sporting events. But the reason they're dropping 1.6 to 1.5 to 1.4 is because they're not putting on shows that people need to go, I got to watch this. Right? A baseball game's 9 innings. And unfortunately, statistically, we are now seeing numbers that a lot of people are kind of bored with a lot of baseball. Not BC, but that's what numbers are showing us, right? So they want to be entertained. They keep going back, of course, but they want to be entertained throughout those 9 innings. They'll switch over to pro wrestling if it's good enough. Same thing with football. We saw that back in the Attitude Era, right? I mean, pro wrestling was actually beating Monday Night Football at times, man. They were crushing football because it was more entertaining. So when you just when you put together what they put together, Zelina Vega versus Ivy Nile, a weird triple threat tag team match to once again decide number 1 contenders, which they do all the time. These type of matchups to fill up 2 hours is not going to entertain your bulk. 1.4, they went down again. So you can blame sporting events all you want, that's fine. The bottom line is they keep going down. Next week, if they don't produce, at least they don't have World Series, but what are you going to do? They're going to go to a 1.3. Are you going to blame it on just football? Because don't forget, even without football competition, their average is a 1.6 now. 1.6. Yeah. Remember, it wasn't long ago. Everyone goes, oh, without football, they're going to be back to around 2.3, 2.4 BC. Maybe even 2.5. They can't even sniff 2 mil anymore. That's done. Those days are done. So 1.4 Raw rating. Once again, major dip. So I don't know what's worse right now, Raw or my Yankees. Right now, we'll call it a draw. Big injury for WWE, man. Rhea Ripley is on the shelf yet again. A fractured right orbital bone is what we are being told. Now, there was an angle set up on Tuesday night's NXT where Rhea got jumped, I believe it was the parking lot, by Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. That was storyline, but based in reality to put Rhea on the shelf. It is a real injury from what we are hearing. So again, it is a fractured right orbital. So this will place her on the shelf. We have seen these type of injuries where wrestlers come back, they wear like a mask or something. I don't see how that fits Rhea's character, so they might want to sit her out for a few months. And that's sad because she just came back a few months ago, guys, from injury, multi-months. So now you're starting to see, it looks like a freak accident, right? Because it's a fractured orbital bone. It's not like her legs just gave out. But you're starting to... or at least you're going to start hearing the conversation of, is she injury prone? And if that's the case, the company might hesitate or be hesitant to put gold on her if she's always getting injured. But again, this is just a freak accident, it looks like. She must have been in a matchup or... Yeah, they don't do too many live events anymore. I wonder when that happened or who she was up against. But we're hearing this is a legit injury. Storyline wrote her off of TV on Tuesday night. Rhea Ripley, fractured right orbitable. I can say that 5 times fast, BC. Orbital bone. There you go. And she is on the shelf. So we wish Rhea Ripley all the best. Now, subsequently, someone she's been in a heavy storyline with, Liv Morgan, is on the total opposite side of the spectrum. She's on cloud 9. She's involved in a story right now, whether you think it's good or not. I'm with you. I'm so lost with this whole Judgment Day and where it's going. It's, at this point, I don't even know if I care about Finn Balor turning, which was the one thing we were all kind of seeing how it plays out when Balor finally turns on the click, but I don't even know if I'm into that anymore. And even Damien and Rhea has lost its luster. So yeah, I don't know, but Liv's in a storyline, at least. She's wearing gold around her shoulder and her waist, wherever she decides to place it. And more so, she just signed a brand new lucrative 5-year deal with the WWE. She has re-signed already, so she did not let the contract expire. WWE has been doing that. They've been letting the contracts run down, basically run out for a lot of stars, like Becky Lynch as well, has not totally signed, we're hearing. But Liv Morgan has. The deal was right in her wheelhouse. It's what she wanted financially, and she has stated several times in recent interviews, WWE is where she would like to end her career. So this 5 years might just do that. So while we wish the best for Rhea in that injury, we also congratulate Liv on her new deal. Okay, so let's go into... This is wild, man. Vincent Kennedy is back. Some say he just never left anyway, so can you really be back if you never left? But VKM, everybody thought he's just kind of like banging his head down in a basement somewhere with all that he's got going on. No, this dude is doing business as usual. So Vincent Kennedy McMahon is starting his own entertainment company, guys. It is going to be an entertainment hub of all things, movies, television, modeling, you name it. And apparently, from what we're being told, it will not conflict with professional wrestling, more specifically WWE. So as of now, he is telling Endeavor, right, because he wants to be in good faith with them, with the relationship that he does have with them, what's left of it, and he wants to assure them he is not going to compete with them. But it's Vincent Kennedy. I mean, if he completely cashes out, we are hearing he still has a few shares left. But once he completely cashes out and he's got no ties whatsoever other than his son-in-law, who's to say, man, if Vince starts failing at this hub, he might go back to what he knows, professional wrestling. So, and it looks like his legal team does believe that they're going to be able to beat this case that they're involved in right now with the Janelle Grant, the Ring Boy situation in that lawsuit, and the filings. They don't believe Vince will see any repercussions from that. That'll be more organizational, and the legal team also believes that he'll beat that as well. So Vince is feeling pretty good that he's going to go ahead with the next steps in creating this entertainment juggernaut. So, There you go, man. You can just see the first meetings, right? When he announces it publicly. He's going to come out to Eric Bischoff's old theme, right? I'm back and better than ever. No, Vince will just come back with his old theme because that's more significant for Vince, right? No chance now, you've got. Because that's Vince's statement, right? You've got no chance of taking this dude down because that's Vince. And even if you do, he doesn't stay down. VKM, man, every single time you think he's gone, just enjoy your retirement, what's left of it. This dude's like, I'm going nowhere. I'm telling you, it wouldn't be the oddest. I wouldn't be that shocked if he ever shows up in WWE. I know, I don't think Endeavor would ever allow that on one hand, but with this dude, you never know, man. I still believe he has so much influence creatively with Hunter because Hunter said that, right? They're eating dinner 5 times a week together with Steph, obviously. And he admitted he talks shop with him. Of course he does. He says he goes to Vince when he's kind of stumped and lost and needs some creative help. He's admitted that. So that's how we know. So it's just funny, you know, how much are we seeing that's still Vincent Kennedy? Wild. Entertainment hub company. So it's almost like Vince is going to be like an entertainment, like a management firm, or right? Almost kind of like what Nick Khan was in, talent management. Then he had his own firm. It's going to be interesting to see what Vince has up his sleeve, man. But he's got something big brewing, that is for sure. Hopefully it's more for him anyway, and everybody involved. Hopefully it's more successful than the XFL. Because that 2 times over was just that was a bona fide failure each time. I think he tried to WWE-anize it too much, right? Add too much and it doesn't work. Just because pro wrestling was on fire at the time of the inception of the first XFL. It doesn't mean that that's going to translate to every other area. I think that's where Vince fell off. He thought, oh, I'm successful here. I'll just bring them over here and that'll become successful. No. So it'll be interesting to see if his movies and his TV shows, if he's got all these pro wrestlers in them, you know. But a lot of them are entertaining, man. Batista, Rock, Cena, right? And then some of them are a little bit rougher and they admit it, right? Randy's like, no, I probably shouldn't have done that movie. And others as well. It's rough. All right, good conversation, man. Vince McMahon's back. Wonder how you guys feel about it. I don't care how you feel. I'm back. Vincent Kennedy. All right, and you know what? I want to talk some AEW. So let's just talk Lashley first. This what he said recently about a current star that a lot of wrestlers came together and they wanted to boot him from the company. WWE star Omos. Apparently when he came in, I'll give you guys the exact quote. This is from Bobby Lashley. Lashley says this: when Omos first came in, they were gonna fire him because he hurt a couple of people. There were wrestlers yelling at him and trying to make him look bad to the office and trying to get him fired because he hit a dude hard and stuff like that. So Bobby Lashley says Omos came in hot, so started taking people out for real, and a bunch of the wrestlers came together and were making it known to the office that they wanted him fired. Now, I wonder if that's, you know, some of the more vocal leaders back there is like the Randy Ortons and stuff. So I wonder if like Randy Orton and such, I don't know if Cena was there when Omos first got there though, right? Like, was it the leaders or was it more like some of the mid-carders and they said, listen, if there's like 5 or 6 of us together, then they'll have to hear us out. But it would be very interesting to see who was trying to get Omos out of there because that's very telling. You haven't seen a lot of Omos over the last couple of years. He's got that WrestleMania spot a year or 2 ago, whatever. I think it was 2 years ago against Brock Lesnar. Every time they tried something, it just doesn't work. And then you have the locker room pissed off at him. And they were probably like, you know what? We want to keep you because you're a spectacle. But, man, this is not working in every area, in every direction we send you in. It bounces back in epic failure. So they're keeping him. From what I'm hearing, he's still part of the roster. I believe he's still on the roster page, but possibly as a kind of like a free agent. So they don't know what to do with Omos. So yeah, that's yeah, I guess I'm not too shocked on one hand, but to hear that story, it does tell us a lot of probably why they stopped trying to push him finally. He was pissing off his own peeps. So anyway, that's just an interesting Lashley story, and I bring that up because Lashley is heavy into the news. Obviously, last night's Dynamite saw the debut of Bobby Lashley. Hurt Business is back under a different name, the Hurt Syndicate. MVP asking the question, guess who's back in business? So if you guys didn't see, Swerve, middle of the ring, good match, by the way, with Shelton Benjamin. Defeated Benjamin. MVP gets on the phone. It's clear he's talking to Lashley. We didn't know if he would debut him that night. But it was clear. It was like a Paul Heyman calling Roman, right? Call Roman Reigns, right? Call Bobby Lashley. All of a sudden, the lights go out. Commentary, I like what commentary did. Commentary was kind of like, is it House of Black? Because the lights went out. But then you started hearing like those drums or whatever it is from WWE's Bobby Lashley entrance. And it was pretty clear. I mean, Lashley's debuting. So sure enough, you see this just gargantuan dude come through the blue lighted, darkened entrance. The silhouette alone tells you it's Bobby Lashley, and I'm like, here we go. It's off to the races, man. My boy Bobby Lashley. For a lot of you guys, maybe this does nothing. You're not big into Bobby. The way that WWE booked him made you not care about Bobby. I totally understand. Trust me. It even made it hard for BC to really care. But because I put this dude on a pedestal, I know the talent that he possesses. If you put the right mouthpiece to him, like MVP, this guy is the limit. But Vince booked him just not in the right way, and Hunter Hearst Helmsley didn't book him at all. And that's why Lashley said, we just didn't see eye to eye. He said, I tried to work with Hunter. It just didn't work. He didn't want to. And we saw that with Lashley's booking. That's a shame. I don't know how you have a guy like Lashley and you just don't want to work with him and give him good stuff, good material. Like you're looking at Lashley and you don't think that he can help your company. But he's ready to work with any type of indie dude that's 5'6", $160, soaking wet, right? But if it's somebody who might be physically bigger than Hunter now, Hunter doesn't like that. Hunter likes to work with the littler dudes now so he can be Papa H. I just don't understand how you lose a guy like Lashley. But one man's loss, another's gain. And Tony Khan took him. And so here's Bobby Lashley. He comes out last night to, try to save face for Bobby Lashley's, or should I say Shelton Benjamin's loss. And he takes out Swerve, man. Just annihilates Swerve. And they all look to the hard camera. Some production botch. Some people might make a big deal out of this. I know we talk about it when WWE does it for sure, but they've been around for so long, that should never happen. Last night, I don't know how many people were in that arena. Probably wasn't that many, so everything's going to echo more. But you actually heard the countdowns, man, from the refs. You heard it from 90 seconds down. I heard 90 and 30 for sure. 90 seconds, 30 seconds, 30. Bobby, hard cam, 30 seconds. You can actually hear it audibly. You can't do that. The mics are going to pick that up, especially when it's kind of quiet. I thought Lashley, for the crowd that they had, did get a good pop and a good reception, by the way. But it's not the size of the crowd you would have liked, and it didn't have the energy you would have preferred. I totally agree with both of those statements and sentiments. But it was still decent for what it was. And even good. You know what I mean? A lot of people, you got the Oli chant going, so that was a good chant. You want that. But the countdown definitely took you kind of out of it. But I do appreciate that they really wanted to get this right. They really wanted to end it with all three, Shelton, Bobby, and MVP, looking at the hard cam over a down and out Swerve, with MVP's statement being the final thing you hear as we fade to black. Guess who's back in business? I thought it was such a good finish. And they really wanted to nail it, so they really wanted everyone to be on their mark at the countdown. So I appreciate it. It was just too loud, and there wasn't enough crowd to drown out the calls, the cues. So that's what happened, man. So you actually heard. A lot of us did anyway. If you didn't, then don't worry about the last 2 minutes of this conversation, right? Business as usual, pun intended. But for a lot of us, we did hear that. It might have taken us out a little bit. But damn, it was still good. MVP asking that question. And now is where the fun begins, right? If booked correctly, Hurt Syndicate, which is what we believe the name will now be. Her business is owned by WWE, trademark, registered, all the good stuff. And MVP is already trademarked for Hurt Syndicate. So if they're booked properly, sky's the limit, just like I said about them in WWE when they had Cedric with them as well. There's no stopping this group, man. They just go together, and it's the perfect combination. MVP and Bobby, and then you have Shelton Benjamin as even more muscle. I like this group. I just do. Now, if they're booked half-ass or booked like they were tail end in WWE, yeah, it's just more mediocre booking in AEW. Nobody needs to see that. So this could go really well or it could go really wrong. My guess is we're going to find out real quick. But I am throwing my full support into the hat of AEW and Hurt Syndicate. I thought that was really well done. Another faction last night, I thought it was well done. It might be getting panned, and I can see why, but Mox and his clique and using Wheeler Utah, right? Turning on Wheeler to kind of lure out Orange Cassidy. And it worked, and Orange came out, and Wheeler ends up getting up and putting the boots to Orange. If you guys saw it, you know what I'm talking about. If you didn't, it was just a ploy for Mox to get Orange out. But I like the direction where Wheeler's kind of the whipping boy, right? And eventually he'll have enough. And it'll be an interesting dynamic to where we're BC and a lot of people that didn't really see that much in Wheeler. He's a good wrestler. He's a good hand. But this could make him a much bigger star than a lot of us see in him or think is in him. This could play out really good. I liked how it got BC hooked. When they took him down, I was like, wait, whoa. Now, even to say, BC, how did you not know that was a ploy? Because it was so well done. I mean, it looked like they're going to make an example out of this kid. And here comes Freshly Squeezed. Now, that brings up a whole nother dynamic, right? A lot of people don't know if Freshly Squeezed versus Mox is the match that should be happening when AEW is struggling, but listen, you can't have it both ways, man. You want them to, invest in their homegrown talent. Well, guess what? Freshly Squeezed, Orange Juice Cassidy is one of those dudes. So which is it? I understand he's not the biggest dude. But if you're going to complain that they're putting their freshly squeezed homemade talent into the main events, if you're going to complain about that, then you also cannot complain that they're bringing in all these WWE guys. Because where does it end? Right? Too many WWE guys. And why is Orange Cassidy in the main event? Which is it, man? I'm totally fine with Cassidy. Cassidy has absolutely earned his way to these spots. He's paid his dues. Trust me, I'm not a big fan of every smaller dude in all these main events taking out people like Bobby Lashley. But, I mean, Orange Cassidy is not the hill to die on for AEW's homegrown talent not being in positions they should be in. Cassidy versus Mox, let it go. Let it go. I think that's going to be damn interesting. But people want, I don't know, man. Of all the issues in AEW, Freshly Squeezed having a match with Mox is just not what BC is going to go, oh, this company. Not at all. And Bobby Lashley and Swerve? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Let's go. Let's go. Speaking of a party that's private. Did they ever make it public? No, I think it's still private. It's a party that's private. They won the tag titles last night against the Young Bucks. Young Bucks put them over. A lot of people are like, they were shocked. Young Bucks did the job. Then others are saying Young Bucks will probably get it back in 3 weeks. But Bucks, in a long-ass competitive matchup, dropped the titles over to a private party. So, good for the party. That was one of those, that's one of those things where It would have been better. You know, everybody's kind of like, oh, Bobby Lashley should have debuted in a bigger arena, more people, maybe not even on a Dynamite, maybe wait for a PLE or pay-per-view, my bad. But I'm more thinking, like, should the tag titles have been presented more on a pay-per-view or on a bigger night, maybe not against the World Series? Again, I always say put your best foot forward, no question. I'm also a big advocate of titles not always changing hands on the shows, the weekly shows. And I know the business has changed and it's about popping ratings. So, I don't know. I guess I'm trying to have my cake and eat it too here, right? I don't like titles changing all the time, but I do like when they, push the envelope, put their best foot forward, because you do have big competition. So it is what it is. It did grab a big headline. So, yeah, Dynamite wasn't, I didn't feel Dynamite. I always say this, though. There's so many weeks of Dynamite I don't feel is that bad. It's just fan interest is not there. So in the ratings, it's like, damn, did anybody even care about any of it? Because fan interest is not there. But I think you can say that about pro wrestling in totality. The interest is not there. And that's why I always say, when people say the wrestling business is booming, just because WWE is making money doesn't mean it's booming. The interest is lacking at an all-time rate right now, and it's sad. We're seeing it in every area. Traction from the companies themselves, from the television show ratings, to this platform and viewerships. The interest is just not there, man, and it's sad. And we're trying to turn it around, and we're doing that, channels like this, by trying to help the companies to just be more entertaining and more fun, so that way more people gravitate toward it, and then they jump on platforms like this, and they love what we're doing, and we get to talk pro wrestling in a good way, right? Positive. Unfortunately, it's rough. It's rough. It's a rough time in pro wrestling right now. And I think that's why you hear so many people trying to say, oh man, wrestling is booming right now. They're saying it so much because they're trying to convince themselves. But unfortunately, if you guys watch Monday Night Raw, guys, watch it. Just stop for a moment saying Hunter is cooking. Think about what you're really viewing on Monday nights and why they're only at a 1-4. Think about what you're watching on Dynamite and all these shows. Is this really the best pro wrestling shows we could be getting right now and should be getting? I think you'd find, if you're honest with yourself, it's a resounding and astounding absolutely not. And the final story on today's amped up show is a big story. And this could absolutely, I believe it's going to. There's no way around it. It is going to change the landscape of professional wrestling, especially the independent scene, more specifically the schools that these wrestlers are learning from. Some people don't feel this is a big deal at all. Others know how massive this is. Some do not believe that this is going to monopolize at all. Relax. This is just like it's another way for Hunter and WWE to kind of seek out talent. And others see it for more, right? See it for exactly what it is. This is WWE flexing. This is them just literally putting their logo on everything. Either you're affiliated with us or you're just not big league. So however you feel about it, much respect, but the fact remains this is massive, and this absolutely leads to a monopoly. It doesn't matter the degree, right? Even if it's a small monopoly, right? It's a monopoly. It's the closest thing in conjunction to what Vince did to the territories back in the day. I'm not saying it's a direct comparison. Relax. There's nothing like that. I mean, Vince literally bought out his territory competition. That was amazing. But for today's landscape, you really don't have the territories anymore. You really only have the independent companies that still exist. Most of them, by the way, are ran out of schools, guys. They're schools, and they run promotions from that to utilize their talent, showcase them, make a few extra bucks. They're schools, and they're attached to the independent company that you know. But it's the foundation is a school. And that's what Hunter Hearst Helmsley and WWE is going for. They're going around to this new accredited program, and they're stamping their WWE logo on whoever they choose to be an affiliate of theirs. So how independent really are you anymore? Can we even use that word? You have an affiliation. Let me tell you guys what it is first, so you guys can get a better understanding. WWE has launched WWE ID, a first-of-its-kind developmental program designed to provide up-and-coming wrestlers a pathway to a potential career in WWE. Think about that. They're going to these independent companies, which again, most are schools, and they're going to provide up-and-coming wrestlers with a pathway to a potential career in WWE. That means they want them. At first, you might not hear this, right? They're going, oh no, we want the trainers to train in their style. Eventually, you guys know what they're going to want. If they're affiliated with them and they have their logo, they want them to learn the WWE way. That should not be the case unless you're down in like NXT, WWE's actual developmental program. But if you're going to have a developmental program everywhere now, you're just monopolizing all of the schools and the independents, and they're all learning the WWE way. That's not good for business. We're already seeing that down in Florida, aren't we? So many wrestlers are a carbon copy of one another. They're no different than a cardboard box or just any box that's coming off the distribution assembly line at an Amazon distribution center. And you're watching the factory and you're watching the assembly line and every box looks the same and they're coming one after the other. That's basically what Florida is now. NXT, the developmental program, the performance center. Every wrestler is a carbon copy of one another. They're all going to the same promo classes. They're all learning the same type of ways to do everything, right? They're classes. And that's why they all sound the same and look the same and do the same. It's the WWE way. The one saving grace we have is that there's other men and women that are training elsewhere. They're doing it a different way so that when they get to WWE, they have such a unique aspect to them, many unique aspects. Many dynamic differences that differentiate themselves from WWE, and hopefully WWE takes some of that under consideration. Now what you're saying is they were learning the WWE way when they were in the original school in that independent. So now when they get to the Performance Center, that's much less work. Great for WWE, no question. I know, right, BC? This is business, man. This is just how it is. This is going to be good for them. And it's good for a lot of the talent. Now it's easier for them to get in. No, there's still only a certain amount of spots. You're just all under the thumb of WWE now. Most of these kids, most of these guys and gals are not going to make it to WWE. And they're going to only be learning the WWE way, which is shutting them off from being themselves, something unique, because they're told if you want to make it, because you're in the affiliated program, if you want to make it, you got to do things the WWE way. We're going to help you get there right now. You better hope you get there. If that's the be-all, end-all, because that's what WWE is doing. They're flexing, right? We are the major leagues, and if you want to get to our organization, you have to go to one of our affiliates. Well, I mean, they're going to monopolize that. They've already got like 5 or 6 schools, I believe, right? All their wrestlers are locked down for sure. Nightmare Factory, Cody, and I think QT is still involved with that. Tyler Black's Academy. Probably the Dudleys are already in it if they still have their school. My point is, you already see a bunch of schools already with this WWE logo, this ID logo. And we're hearing that talent is already being... listen to this, guys. Do I have this? So this is an actual quote from a Sports Illustrated story. WWE will label these schools with official WWE ID labels. So, I mean, that is actually phasing out schools that don't have it, right? It's either you play the game, literally and figuratively, or all these students are going to want to go elsewhere. They don't even want to go to your school. You're not affiliated. I'm trying to make it to WWE. But if there's so many schools with all these students trying to make it, then you're no better off. The same number of people are going to make it or not make it. And a lot of good schools and independents are going to go out of business because they don't have this stupid logo. So let me go on with this. WWE will label these schools with official WWE ID labels, and individual prospects will also have WWE ID prospect tags on them. So the individual wrestlers that they like, that doesn't mean they're signing them. They're going to put a WWE prospect tag on them. Almost like they're branding them, right? With a bull brander. They're like stamping them off the assembly line. What does that even mean? They don't have to sign them, but it's almost like they're holding them in the bullpen. They might never use them as a relief pitcher, but they're going to hold them. As of now, they're saying and doing all the right things, right? They're letting these wrestlers do whatever they want. They can go to other promotions. They can sign with other companies. But what I'm saying, guys, is over time, that's going to change. Trust me. This is their foot in the door. This is to make everybody, tell everybody all the good stuff, right? Make it seem that it's all kosher, it's all good. And then they're gonna want their return on their investment. It literally, by the way, listen to this report. I think this is also Sports Illustrated. WWE will provide financial assistance to these independent wrestling schools. Financial assistance. Sound independent to you when a multi-billion-dollar company is providing you with financial assistance? How independent are you? One hand washes the other, right? Eventually that independent promotion's like, yeah, we should be doing it a little more independent, but WWE's paying us. That's what I'm saying. Listen to John Cena's quote. John Cena says, "This is a massive step forward for us all. I feel education and experience are the keys to unlocking opportunity." To which I would ask John Cena, isn't that what they were getting? Experience and education. That's what they're getting. And in a different way than what WWE can offer. So when they do get to WWE, if they do, they have all of these unique experiences and all these things that differentiate them from everybody else in the norm. It's what makes them special, right? Pro wrestling has to have a variety of different characters and talent and training and schools that they trained at. I mean, that's what makes it so damn good. But if you're telling me that now everybody is a carbon copy of one another even before they get to the Performance Center, we're already seeing how this is backfiring in the Performance Center. They're dishing out maybe stars at times, but there's no superstars. There's none. Dragunov, as much as I love the dude and I put him on a pedestal, that's not a superstar. The way he's booked, he's an afterthought. He's been injured for weeks now. Nobody even freaking knows he's on the roster still. Nobody's asking, where's Dragunov? They don't even care. Mello, is that a superstar? No, he's not. Look at him. There's no larger-than-life superstars anymore. And if you're going to have everybody as a carbon copy, there's never going to be again, is what you're telling us. You know, C4, independent wrestling company. Canada, I believe. Canada. C4 Wrestling. They had a good take on this. And, of course, there was backlash, you know, especially everybody that loves WWE, and that's it. They were like, no, this is amazing. Shut up. But CW Wrestling brought up a good point. They said, there's a quote from CW Wrestling. The point of independent wrestling is for talent to discover themselves, to grow, to learn. If you claim to be independent but are bound to a billion-dollar company, you're not an independent. End quote. It's exactly what BC has been saying. You can't claim one thing and do another then. You can't claim you're independent and have a WWE prospect logo on you while getting financial assistance from that same billion-dollar WWE. That's not an independent anymore. That's the problem. You may love this or not. That's your prerogative. Much respect for however you feel on it. But you're no longer independent, and that's where the issue is, man. That's what's called monopolizing. Your WWE logo is on all the schools and independents now, basically. That's a monopoly. Oh, it's the WWE. It's a WWE accredited program affiliate. So what? The other school is not as good because it wasn't tagged by WW? It wasn't tagged by the E, so it's not as good? No, it's probably better. Because it has something unique to offer. It has wrestlers that are learning different styles and learning how to be themselves and not just the WWE way, but the pro wrestling way. The WWE could benefit from that, but they want such a well-oiled machine, they don't want to put any more effort into anything or overthink anything, so they just want to take it from inside their bubble. And if they can expand that bubble and have them already primed for when they get to the Performance Center, it's much more easier for Hunter Hearst Helmsley. It's a monopoly. That's exactly what this is. That's not even a conversation. That's exactly what they're doing. And they know that. They're flexing. And of course, this is to help themselves. And it's business. I get it. You know what I mean? I totally get it. He learned from Vincent Kennedy McMahon. All is fair in love and war and business. And, we saw what Vince did. And now Hunter's just going to go for the schools, go for the heart of the independent. The heartbeat of the independent wrestling world. That's what he's going to go for. That helps out WWE. It does not help out the rest of pro wrestling. I'm telling you guys right now, man. That's not even debatable. This does not help out professional wrestling. Everybody is going to try to get this WWE affiliate. Everybody's going to run away from those schools and those independents that are not WWE affiliated. Everybody's going to think they have to learn just the WWE way. Good luck. Good luck how that's going to pan out, man. And John Cena talking about how, again, listen to this. It doesn't make any sense. This is a massive step forward for us all. For us all. You mean WWE? He says, I feel education and experience are keys to unlocking opportunity. What do you think they're learning at the schools? All this is doing is having them learn the WWE way before they even get to the NXT Performance Center, if they even do such. Most of them will not. And you're actually going to prevent them from opportunities because they didn't try to learn things on their own, or try to learn about themselves and grow into characters and try different promos. No, this is how you do it in WWE, and this is the school that you're training at, and because we're an affiliate, this is what you have to do. It's a monopoly. They've already started with like 5 or 6 schools already that we know of, and they just announced it. We're already hearing that there's wrestlers that already have a tag on them. Guys, you can love this idea. That's fine. But I hope you're not calling this independent anymore. It's not. These are WWE. They're just monopolizing schools and independents. And what that's going to do is it's going to block a lot of new talent from going to other companies that are bigger. So that's not going to help competition either, by the way. I think in the long run, this is only going to hurt WWE even more. Because fans will see right through it. The carbon copy. No more larger-than-life superstars. Everybody feels the same. The music hits. We don't even care who's coming through the curtain. We're not jumping out of our seats. Even the music is generic, right? We don't even know which wrestler it is because the music is so damn generic. You have to have variety. I'm not saying it has to necessarily be like back in the day, although that was hella fun. They would find wrestlers at the bar. It's this giant guy. He's got the look. And he picked it up real quick, and it's like, all right, you're going to be something, man. And it just brought a variety. Now you can just tell, they've been learning the WWE way since 16. It's a monopoly, guys. Whether you love it or not, that's your prerogative. But this is not going to be good for the pro wrestling world. It's great for WWE for now. It's going to eventually hurt them. And you're going to have the John Cenas and everybody absolutely hoorah speeching this, right? Giving it the old college speech and how good this is. Hoorah, pom-poms in the air. It's not good. It's a monopoly. But it was only a matter of time. This is a flex. Let's put our WWE logo on everything and everybody. And if you're not a part of our affiliate, if you're not a part of us, if we did not tag it, if we did not brand you with our logo, then you're just not you're not up to par with us. And they'll go elsewhere to where they do see the WWE logo. Interesting way to do business. I think it'll bite them in the ass in the long run. That's what I got for you guys. Soon, maybe even this afternoon, possibly, but sometime this week, I want to do a live stream for just like 20 minutes, having a cup of coffee, and giving a shout out to all my channel members. That's it. That's the live stream. Of course, we can shoot the shit about some wrestling too. If there's some super chats and you guys have a discussion in the pro wrestling world you like to talk, BC will give you his hot takes. But if it's just 20 minutes of BC spitting out all of my channel members and showing that shout out and love and appreciation and respect, then that's what I want to do. But live, cup of coffee, and just giving you guys a shout out. That's the live stream. I want to do that. Maybe even this afternoon. We'll see. But until then, until next time, and it will be that next time, BC in the unit, and we're saying check you.